The hostage crisis, that's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. You can only hide incompetence for so long. Biden's done a good job of it. He hid when he was in the Senate. He hid as VP. He hid during the campaign because of COVID. But when he became president, he wasn't able to hide anymore. And look what happened. First, he killed vaccine confidence with the J&J pause. Look at the chart, falls right off a cliff. Then he killed the border. And now Afghanistan. We saw it coming. The guy botched the Iraq withdrawal, led ISIS takeover. His administration stranded Americans in Benghazi, remember that, left them for dead. Now Joe Biden stranded thousands of Americans in a war zone behind enemy lines, and the only way out is the airport, which is surrounded by the enemy. An enemy that's committing atrocities on live TV for the whole world to see. In July, the president claimed this wouldn't happen.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not.
Why?
Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof of a embassy of the United States from Afghanistan.
But the images look exactly the same. Mad scramble out of town. People clinging to wings. Total chaos. Thousands of Americans left in a war zone. Billions of dollars of military equipment just left behind for the terrorists to take. Black Hawk, drones, planes, grenade launchers, night vision goggles, Humvees. It's a war chest, all in the Taliban's hands. But Joe said there were no mistakes.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
It's so bad even CNN can't spin it.
It is just an absolute mess. And we heard President Biden say yesterday in his comments to ABC News that this is not a failure. And I think a lot of people outside that airport, particularly those taking the kinds of extreme actions we're just talking about, would like to know, if this isn't failure, what does failure look like exactly?
Joe Biden created a kill zone at the airport. Every single person that wants to leave has to funnel through the same route. A route controlled by the enemy. Afghans are getting beaten, killed, or kidnapped. Americans are being blocked or shaken down. Our people are having to bribe terrorists just to get out. It's a hostage crisis. And planes are half empty because of Taliban roadblocks. On Friday, 8 hours, no planes took off. The Biden administration doesn't even know who's inside the country.
How many American citizens remain in Afghanistan?
I don't know.
10,000, 15,000 Americans stranded behind enemy lines. Can we get them past the Taliban to the airport?
We don't have the capability to go out and collect up large numbers of people.
Joe Biden said he planned for this. I'd hate to see what winging it looks like. The State Department sent out a memo to all Americans saying they couldn't guarantee safe travel to the airport. So let's check in and see what's happening at the airport now. Does the commander-in-chief have any idea how dangerous this is?
Still a lot of pandemonium outside the airport.
Well, there is, but look, but no one's being killed right now. God forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but no one's being killed right now.
Wrong. Nearly 20 people have been killed by Taliban coming to the airport. The president's lost touch with reality. He gave a hard withdrawal date, September 11th, and he pulled out the troops before he pulled out Americans, Afghan partners, and all of our military gear. It was a massive mistake. And the minute he set a hard date in April with no conditions, the Taliban advance began. The next thing Biden did could cost him this presidency. Biden was briefed on the Taliban advance. He was warned the Afghan army was deserting. The Wall Street Journal reports in July, quote, the administration had been warned by its own officials on the ground that the Taliban's advance was imminent and Afghanistan's military may be unable to stop it. An internal State Department memo last month warned top agencies officials of the potential collapse of Kabul, rapid territorial gains by the Taliban, and subsequent collapse of the Afghan security forces, and actually offered recommendations on ways to mitigate the crisis and speed up the evacuation, unquote. The New York Times, quote, intelligence warned of Afghan military collapse. Despite Biden's assurances, classified assessments by American spy agencies over the summer painted an increasingly grim picture of the prospect of a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan and warned of the rapid collapse of the Afghan military, even as President Biden and his advisors said publicly that that was unlikely to happen as quickly, according to all these people. So, Biden was briefed on the collapse of the Afghan army and a quick Taliban takeover, and he did nothing about it. In fact, he went on TV and lied to us, saying the Afghan army could hold and a quick Taliban takeover was unlikely. He pulled air support, he pulled ground support, and watched the Afghan army get bribed and surrender. Now we're stuck with the Taliban as our travel agents. Hey, Mohammed, can you get me to the airport? Oh, that'll be $20K? Okay. So the question is this. Did the commander-in-chief lie to the American people, strand thousands of Americans behind enemy lines, and abandon billions of dollars of lethal military equipment just to get a political photo op to pull out on the 20th anniversary of 9/11? Republicans, when they take back the House, they're going to have to decide, is this an impeachable offense? This Afghan hostage crisis is going to dominate the news cycle until every single American is safely evacuated. This was the man that was supposed to be an experienced Washington guy. He knew how to pull the levers of power, listen to his intel people, hug our alliances. And in one single weekend, it's all shattered. Who's going to trust Joe now? Oh, Joe's going to crack down on illegal gun trafficking in America? He just armed the Taliban. Oh, Joe, you're going to ask for billions for the Green New Deal? Really? How did the billions work out training that Afghan army? Let's take a look at the Afghan army training. What a colossal waste of money. Last couple months, we heard about the threat from MAGA grandmas, remember? The threat of white supremacy here? No. We missed the real threats. Pay attention. Imagine having 20 years to plan for something and screwing it up this badly. The Pentagon priorities are shot. Biden, the State Department, lost. Iran continues to nuke up. Russia may move on Ukraine. And China just held assault exercises near Taiwan. When are we going to get that lab leak report anyway? Are they just going to bury that too? The president just asked OPEC to increase oil production because of these high gas prices here. OPEC said, no, Joe. The president just asked Putin for Central Asian basing rights to keep an eye on the Taliban. Putin said, no, Joe. During the ABC interview, Biden couldn't remember where his late son served and forgot we still had forces in Syria. He thinks his Afghan exit couldn't have gone any better. Something's not right with this president. He didn't speak to a single NATO ally when he was bungling the withdrawal. Our allies are furious. The president isn't feared or respected. Democrats here at home, silent. They won't defend him. The Biden presidency is teetering on the brink of collapse. A prolonged hostage crisis in Afghanistan will bleed them dry. If U.S. soldiers take casualties defending the airport, or if the Taliban kills an American civilian, it's over for Joe Biden. This is a fluid situation with serious consequences for this administration and for the homeland.